Hey Yvonne, how are you?
I'm doing great. I just realized that the theme of today's podcast
I was 11.
But I was unaware that it was podcast number 11. And I was like, wow, Severin, what a great idea to talk about the 1111, all those numerology numbers. And you're so smart. So I just got it live on the podcast. Yes.
The reason why I wanted to talk about 1111 is that it shows up on my phone. It shows up on my computer every time I turn around and watch the clock. Apparently, it's 11:11 in the morning. It's 11:11 at night. I have it with other numbers too, but especially 11:11. And it's not just me. I've got a lot of friends that I see on their Facebook, they post 11:11 with a message. No, I've heard that it's like a portal. It's a moment of truth. It's when the angels visit. I don't know. There's many theories about the 11:11 thing. So I wanted to get your input because you're more knowledgeable about stuff like that. So I wanted you to get your input on your experience with the 11:11 story.
First I want to tell you, okay, I have an 11:11 story, I do. But because I've had very important life changes in my life during those numerologies. So, like, for example, one, I had a near-death experience when I was 17. That's not 11, that's 17. 11 is in there, plus 6. But I had a near-death experience, a car accident, when I was 17 on November 11. And by that time, I did not consider the numerology. It was far away from my mind, numbers. But another experience that was like kind of like a near-death experience, which was like a divorce, also occurred. The conversation, a very challenging situation, occurred like at 11:11 p.m. And then at 1:11 a.m. a decision was made. And then the next day at 1:11 p.m. a call was made to do paperwork, legal stuff, and everything about that divorce was everything 11:11. And wherever I was going during this second experience, second story, right? Like if I was going to see a lawyer or I was really worried about something, I swear to you, I will be driving on the freeway. Is that how you call it? Highway? Freeway, highway, 11:11 way. I will drive, and you know that in the United States, you do have those signs that tells you how many minutes until you arrive to the next street. And there's always 3 streets, different streets. Everything was 11:11 plus 11. It kept multiplying. This thing kept growing. It was like not alone. It had a mind of its own. But what I don't know about 11:11 is like numerology-wise, and this is the perks of being considered a spiritual teacher. The light side of that is that somehow people really trust what you got to say. The shadow aspect of that is that people trust what you got to say. So I want just to clarify to anyone here that I'm no expert whatsoever on this. And I'm basing what I'm about to say about numerology on what I learned from others. So it's not something that I don't hold the truth about this. Intuitively, I can give you my experience of this numerology. But what I'm about to share is what I learned with one of my teachers during Virtu. So 11:11 is, she says, and a lot of numerologists, it represents the numbers of the archangels. mainly Archangel Michael, for those of you who like these Archangel's forces, which is a warrior number. Listen, for 1111, for those of you who are enamored, oh my gosh, 1111, make a wish. It's a warrior number that also brings you a message for you to step up. For you to step up, not giving to fear and trust. That's why a lot of people feel, oh my gosh, 1111, I feel such a blessing. Yeah, but you also are being called to work. It takes one and another one to make something happen. That's my input now. I'm going to bring the action part of the 1111. So 11, if you think about it, the numerology is really powerful. It's 1 + 1, which equals 2. There is a duality we're living in, always, like there's polarities that we live in this universe, well, at least in this planet. I don't know about other planets in the universe, but it's also the number 1 where everything emanates. And then you have another one, which makes the 11, which is calling for interaction with spirit. It's an interaction. It's a number calling you to trust the higher realms. It's a number calling you to collaborate, to co-create, and not doing it alone. Every time that I see, for me, 1111 or any combination of those numbers, first I get, for me, Sebe, this is my experience. I am not alone. Even though we're all one, look at the play of words, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm called to collaborate with creation. Mm-hmm. And there may be a little part in me that wants to do it all alone. I want to do it all alone. I'm not receiving the support of the support of Sacred Spirit or the universe. It's calling me to open up. Mm-hmm. It's calling me to, open up. We got this. You got this. You do your action, one. And then the other one does the action. And we create this incredible numerology, which is one of the master numbers, 11. Then it will multiply, 1111, right? It will multiply because that's the nature of creation, is multiplication, and you see it through evolution. Its nature is expansion and growth. And so for me, in this 11 podcast celebration that we have, guys, it takes 2. And look, you're 1, Sebe, and I'm 1, so you and I represent 11.
Yes.
and the other 11 will be represented by these beautiful people listening to us. It will be 1 listener, and Sacred Spirit also supported them. Look how beautiful it is that you right now are an 11 number. You are 1. And the one, God, Sacred Spirit, Source, resides in you. So you are 11 walking. I'm 11 walking. Now we're walking 11s. And then the other people, we're just going to exponentially grow in the awareness. But what I want to tell people, so that we have a fun celebration. Actually, when we announce this podcast, let's invite people to celebrate our 11 with an 11 theme. I'm going to maybe make a cake, Sebe.
An 11 cake?
When I see you next, that I'm going to be seeing you in the next week, we totally need a little cake celebrating the Shipless Life podcast. Absolutely. But for anyone listening to this, do pay attention, because the universe is a mathematical equation of perfection. Everything is built under sacred geometry. Everything is really mathematical beauty. There's nothing out of order. In our mind, it is sometimes, because we just try to do it alone. Try to not flow, try to get all the accolades, I want to be the one that gets all of the tribute. I want to be who cares about that? If you have the most sublime support, which is called God, as the universe, as creation, why not receive from that? Why not collaborate? That's how you and I are collaborating. And since I'm collaborating with you, my 1 exponentially grew into 11, and then 11, we built together the Shipless Life Academy. I could have stayed only with me, 1, but that would be so boring. So any time that we see or experience that numerology, that tunification, like we're tuning into creation, it's a moment to listen. Mm-hmm. It's a moment to bring humbleness to our minds and to take deeper action from a space of inner knowledge and trusting Sacred Spirit.
Amazing.
And I totally took a monologue of 1. Your turn to be the other one.
No, I think it's amazing how a simple number, if you wish to see it like that, it's a simple number. But for me, when I see 1111, I stop. I listen. I look. It's like taking in the moment and see. Okay, I just saw 1111. What am I supposed to see? What am I supposed to hear? What am I supposed to pay attention to? It's like a moment of consciousness as I see those numbers. It concurs very much with what you said, because that's where it's like an opening portal of consciousness for me, where you pay attention, you listen, you look around. I give thanks. I'm grateful for that particular moment, and it makes me laugh because it becomes funny. It becomes a funny moment where it happens with my brother. We would send messages to each other. Okay, 11:11 again. So we would kind of send consciousness messages to each other in a fun way. It's like the universe telling us, hey, pay attention, listen up, look around. So yeah, well, it's a fun theme, and I would like to invite everybody who's listening to share what their experience is with the 11:11 or the 22:22 or whatever, because the numbers, they show up in multiples. They will come up in different ways. But
well, how about the 11? I love what you just said, and then I'll say something about those numbers. You said something so powerful right now. Like, I stopped and listened. Maybe, and then what happens? Our beautiful human minds. Oh my gosh, what does this mean? what if? I love our humanity, but what if the 11:11, when we notice, is just for the sake of noticing that moment itself? I thought that was so powerful that you just shared it. Like, you just pause, and then you can bring into the moment of that awareness that you are listening, you are pausing. There's something like, okay, I'm paying attention. There's something more than me only, right? There's a universe, there's planet, there's people, there's magic, there's more things. You set your intention in that moment. And you said, I'm grateful, I paused. So that's an invitation also for people listening to the podcast. But what I was going to tell you is that I've been, now that you said the 22, 444, like, I'm seeing consistently these numbers. And that's for another podcast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Life goes on, baby. So the podcast. So any last thoughts on 11:11, on our 11th birthday?
Well, on our podcast number 11, romancing the 11s.
Right, the romance of 11.
Romance of 11. I think it's.
Well, think about it. The romance. It takes one and another one. If you want romance, that's where oneness comes. And then when one-on-one come together in intimacy, there's that sacred, they become one again.
It's all about the ones.
It's all about sex.
That's for another podcast.
Okay.
Thanks, Yvonne, for sharing your thoughts and your experiences. And I hope for all those listening that you're enjoying this as much as we do. And please share your thoughts. We're more than curious to find out about the romance with the 11s. Of all the rest of you. So have a great day, and we'll hear you in the next podcast. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to this weekly podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. Share your thoughts with us on Facebook.com/Sheepless Life Academy and learn firsthand how to live a sheepless life with Yvonne and receive an exclusive in-depth masterclass at sheeplesslife.com.